मंगलम भगवान वीरो मंगलम गौतम प्रभु।
ओम नमो हरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयर्याणं नमो वचायाणं नमो
Jai Jinendra. Welcome to Mangalam. Today we bring to you a very special presentation. The very first scholar to come to Western world to bring the Jain thought to the Western world was Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi. He had come here for the Parliament of Religions that was held in 1893 in Chicago. The same year, Swami Vivekananda was also attending the same conference. Today we celebrate 150 years of the birth anniversary of Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi. We have a tribute paid to him. After that we also have 100 years of celebration for Acharya Tulsi Ji's birth anniversary. He was another scholar and Jain monk who brought the Jain religion to a very high level. After that we will also pay tribute to Gurudev Chitrabhanuji, our own Guru, who has been 91 years of age at this time. It is amazing, he is the pioneer of Jain religion to be really stronghold in Western world in the modern era. So here is the tribute to all these three pioneers of Jain religions in the Western world.
Mr. Praveen Bhai Shah from New York, retired civil engineer, and he has done the most work so far in the United States of America behind Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi.
Jai Jinendra to all. It is really very proud moment for all of us that Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi is honored, given tribute at Jena Convention in his 150th anniversary year. This will shortly give boost to our proposed ERG chair at Claremont Lincoln University and year-long 150th anniversary celebration worldwide starting in August this year to revive his mission. Whatever we have achieved to revive ERG mission is because of the generous support from all of you. Please turn one and done. I will be talking today about the Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi and objective and achievement. Veerchand Raghavji Gandhi was born on August 25, 1864 at Mahua, Gujarat, and in this August is the 150th year. Sri V.R. Gandhi was the first Jain to come to USA to attend the first ever held parliament on birth religions at Chicago, USA in 1893 as a Jain delegate. Deputed on behalf of Sri Atmanandji, also known as Sri Atmanand Vijayananda Suji Maharaj, died, a learned high priest, being the Jain man, could not be able to attend. He was a great Jain, Veerchand Raghavji was a great Jain scholar, humanitarian, who was responsible to send shipload of grain from America to India in worst famine of 1896-1897 in India. A reformer who founded Society for the Education of Women in Chicago. Patriot who talked about the freedom of India at 1893 Parliament of birth religion, 5 decades before India became independent. And defender of Indian culture and Hindu religion when attacked at 1893 Parliament. Getting there, he was very glad that no one dared to attack the religion he represented, and it was well that they should not.
Pranam Gurudev. I am Hemant Shah. I am truly honored and humbled to talk about this great man and his great legacy. The two huge men to talk about. Shikar, slide please. It was a memorable day of September 11, 1893. The Columbus Hall of Art Institute of Chicago was overflowing with more than 3,000 delegates from different nations and religions. It was first such ever conference was organized in the history of mankind for leaders of different faiths from around the world. Next please. The aim of the conference was to impart to the world the knowledge of different religions, to promote the feelings of fraternity between followers of diverse religious persuasions and pave the way of the world peace. Two young men, among them, dressed in an oriental robe and white turban, a world famous Sri Swami Vivekananda, who represented Hinduism, and Sri Virchand Raghavji Gandhi, arrived to represent Jains. It would be a first chance for most Eastern religions to introduce themselves in the Western Hemisphere. But because of the religion forbade our monks to travel outside of India, Muni Sri Atmaramji would not be able to go. Gandhi, a young lawyer and a practicing Jain in Mahua, was chosen to do this job, and he became the solution and was uniquely chosen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a Quaker. It is often said that the Quakers are the Western version of Jains. We are the religion built around nonviolence, as Jains are built around ahimsa. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world torn apart by religious violence. I believe that the years ahead of us are years of world historical importance. Will humanity act in an enlightened way, setting aside selfishness and acting for the good of all living beings? Or will nations and individuals slavishly follow the modernist worldview of Europe and America, materialism, consumerism, placing one's personal desires above the needs of the planet and the suffering of other living beings? Listen, please, to the prophetic words of Virchand Gandhi. He wrote, "In the history of a soul's evolution, there is a critical point of the human incarnation that decides for us whether we stay here, whether we go down, or progress upwards. At that moment, there is a knot of worldly desires impeding us. Cut the knot by mastering desires and go forward. This done, progress is assured." The great truth that Virchand Gandhi spoke is not only the truth for the evolution of each soul, it is equally true for the evolution of humanity as a whole.
And Charita Pragya ji is going to present Acharya Tulsi's life and contribution. Acharya Tulsi was the founder of Anuvrata. Anuvrata, Anu means small, Vrat means vow. That means small vows. And Jain Vishwa Bharati Institute and has written 100 books. Acharya Tulsi developed the 7th order around 1980 in the effort to spread the preaching of Jainism worldwide.
Swami Charitra Pragya ji currently is the Vice Chancellor, so in the American language it would be the President of Jain Vishwa Bharati in Latin. But she was instrumental in creating the Bhagwan Mahavishwami chair. at Florida International University. She came there in 2006, and I would describe, planted the seed for Jainism as a pedagogical tool for building human lives. As an academic, I believe that our mission has three folds: knowledge creation, knowledge dissemination, and knowledge certification. Knowledge creation comes through research, dissemination comes through teaching, and certification comes from awarding a degree. And she is a person who has helped us combine all three, and we have a well-defined curriculum at FIU. I listened about the Claremont Clinton University, and I think there are more such programs we can create such that we can say proudly that Jainism is a way of life, and we all have one mission: how we create global peace and prosperity. So please join me in giving a big hand to the architect of the Jain program at FIU, Swami Charitra Prajapati.
He born in a very small town called Ladnu, as you have seen. At the year of 11, he became a monk, and at the age of 22, he became an acharya of Jain congregation as Theravada congregation. Even though he was a leader and acharya of one sect, but his vision, his work, and his contribution, it was beyond any kind of sect or any language, culture, or religion or belief system. He just wanted to create a society, awaken the consciousness, and build a non-violent society. That was his motto, his objective. For this message, he propounded a trinity, which we can say the message of Anuvrat movement, the message of Krishna meditation, and the message of science of living, Jivan Vigyan. As you have seen in this documentary, if people are not changing, if their hearts are not changing, if there is no transformation occurs in their own mind and heart, all kinds of preachings are not making very word in any kind of communication. So that was he took away. He went for miles and miles, covering all over the country, to have a campaign specifically for the morality, for creating a non-violent society, because he said violence first comes in the person's mind, in the brain, and then ultimately it cultivates into a form of a violent action. So we have to change a person's mind, we have to change a person's heart and its emotions. Science of living, which means Jivan Vigyan, the way of live to life, a life which can be imbibing the moral values at a very early age when the child is born, and the child takes that education in a form of curriculum from first class itself and coming up to the level where they can graduate, post-graduate, and do their masters. We want a country, a world, where we don't need more of technocrats. Like yesterday in the inaugural session, Sam Pitrada was saying that this internet and IT and communication and network is bringing a lot of good aspects in our life. But what about the real human being, the real spiritual being, which we are looking for, but still missing in this world? We are looking and searching for the peace, but still we are a lot away from the way of walking on the path of peace. So that's why he had that motto that through education itself, the changes can happen. Not only by preaching or teaching or having the sermons and discourses, only by the way of practicing the religion. Because religion doesn't mean that we are just doing some kind of superstitious things, but religion means which really transform a person's life by leading a life, practicing in their own way and experiencing that truth, and that truth is ultimately it's called as a self-realization. For that perspective, he had Anuvrat movement. For after the independence of India, he thought that what's the real independence? The real independence is only when people are having a good character, good conduct, because right knowledge, right conduct is the essence of the right knowledge. So ultimately, conduct is more important, morality is more important, ethical values and human values are more important, and that has to be imbibed in the very early age. He trained hundreds and thousands of people, and he educated a common person. This one man, he initiated even Diksha more than 1,000 people, and he thought that by achieving this message, how this can go up to beyond the boundaries of the country of India. So Summon Order came into existence, and you have seen that through education, we are working at FIU, establishing Bhagwan Mahavir Professorship of Jain Studies. This is the first Bhagwan Mahavir Professorship of Jain Studies outside of country of India, established with a great effort of the Jain community, and specifically the lead has been taken by Dr. Deepak Jain and by all the great people who come forward to establish this FIU Bhagwan Mahavir Professorship of Jain Studies in order to promote the Jain principles, Jain values and Jain education. Once a time, Acharya Shri Tulsi, he said that if we are not educating our younger generation, if we are not focusing on our youth and kids and children, then it means we are not doing justice to our future generation. And it's really true. After all, this younger generation, the youths and kids and children have to come forward, practicing the principles, practicing and living a life which is really motivating, promoting and inspiring each and everybody's life to create a non-violent society, to have a peace among ourselves. If we have a peace in our mind, it's possible to have a peace around our life. It's possible to generate that peace in the community which we are coming around. So I think it's a big tribute to His Holiness Acharya Shri Tulsi, who fought for it, who had it for vision and who committed his whole life. And that's one of the big achievements in his life he has done. And it's really difficult to think in this world. He gave up his position of as the Acharyaship in his own presence, and he made his successor in his own presence, Acharya Shri Mahapragya Ji as his successor. In this world where everybody is working for their own power, wealth and prosperity, but in that position, he gave up his Acharyaship and he said, I'm dedicating my life. It's a selfless service for me, and I want my disciples to be Acharya in my own presence, and I want to do that work which I have dedicated for itself. So really, we are honored and blessed, and I'm thankful to Jaina for giving this opportunity. And after all, his message was the unity of the Jains. That was his core message. He met with a lot of great political leaders, great scholars, and whoever comes around him for his advice and for his blessings. He said that we have to work as a team, we have to be united, and we, as a unity, has almost a great strength which gives a lot of motivation. So after all, we are coming through from the same seed and going into different branches of the same tree, but ultimately the seed is non-violence, ahimsa, non-possessiveness, aparigraha, and non-absolutism, that is anikantvad. And these are the golden principles. Which principles can make a man a good man, make a man as a spiritual man, and ultimately everybody can reach to the destination of self-realization. Once again, I'm really thankful to Jaina.
Now it's time to take a short break, but please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Jaina presents Mangalam, the first ever Jain TV program for North America.
It is a dharma. Dharma means your nature. What is your nature? So in Agam, the definition of dharma is Vatru Sahavo Dhammo. That is the original definition of dharma. Your nature is your dharma, your essence. So here today, we are here to practice our own dharma. What is the dharma? There are Muslim people who wrote my first biography of our with a Jain body. he was a Muslim, Arab. And he said, that is the thing we want in the world. Without changing your religion, change your lifestyle and bring ahimsa in your life. And slowly, in India, every person who was ready to change for ahimsa, and slowly, thousands of people started working, and in that direction, people were coming, and when they want to have a temple of understanding, they say, this is the idea we want to give to the world. So they came to me, and they said, if you please come, because we want somebody who can present the idea how to live life. So I said, that's a good thing. So they had the first conference in India, and the second conference was in Geneva. So they said, it is in Geneva, will you be ready to come? We are going to sponsor. I said, if you are going to practice ahimsa, implement, I will be very happy. So they sponsored. And at that time, when I decided to go, there was a big opposition. Because they know that he is living the fort. In fort, I was very safe, but I was leaving the fort. So there was a big opposition. But anyhow, I managed, and I said, opposition is good. Always something opposite, it sharpens your weapon, sharpens your service. Don't be afraid of opposition. Anikat and aparigrah, 3A. But summarize that anikat and aparigrah, they are the complementary to ahimsa. So in reality, only one word, ahimsa. Because anikat means not to hurt others' feeling. That is hinsa. Mental hinsa. Somebody argument puts down, your religion, you are not like us or you, and that way you are creating hinsa. Ahimsa means anikat. You respect his point of view. It is your point of view. Fine.
As we celebrate Gurudev's 91st birthday, it is important to look back and recognize what it is that we are celebrating. We are celebrating a man who not just brought a revolution, he brought 2 revolutions to our community. First, by being a Jain Shwetambar Muni, he decided to leave all sectarianism behind, adopted the name of Chandrabanu, and to spread the Bhagwan's message, he traveled, first Muni to travel overseas. Came to America and was the first, established the first prayer place for Jains in New York. How did he do it? He worked, he lectured. He went to universities, lectured, collected monies, and from that money, he founded the Jain Meditation Center. No one in New York had that place before. This is how Jain Center in New York got a sustenance. That's where they started meeting. Then he founded Jaina. to make an organization of all the Jains. Having inspired people in America to unite, come behind one platform, he then went to different centers, established more and more centers. China was started with in 1981 with 7 or 8 centers. We have 67 centers. Guruji himself has visited almost all of them. On 25 of them he did the Pratishta.
Now it's time to take a short break, but please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Jaina presents Mangalam, the first ever Jain TV program for North America.
Jai Janandar, and welcome to Global Jain News. I'm Risha Mehta. Ancient Jain palm leaf texts, dating back to 200 BCE, have been stored within the Jain temples of Mangalore, but haven't been read due to their fragility. At Mudbidri Mutt, a Jain Shravak has taken on the task of restoring the texts using Japanese tissue paper, and then digitizing them. The Mangalore Jain Center has revealed that 1/3 of the 4,500 texts have already been digitized. DC Jain has taken over the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of IDBI Capital Market Services. DC Jain has experience of over 3.5 decades in banking and financial services. For the first time, a Jain boy by the name of Chitran Murdia scored the highest score on the IIT JEE for engineering. Chitran's score of 334 out of 360 placed him into every IIT, and he intends on attending IIT Delhi. Chitran's father, a businessman, also went to college at IIT Delhi. Public School 244 in Flushing, New York, is the first public school in the United States to serve all vegetarian meals for breakfast and lunch, according to the New York City education officials. Palitana, a holy site for Jains in Gujarat, has become an all-vegetarian city in the world, the first of its kind. Behind this revolutionary change are the Jain monks who went on a hunger strike to pressure the state of Gujarat to outlaw animal slaughter in their city. The hunger strike was successful, and the Gujarat government imposed a ban on animal slaughter and outlawed the sale of meat and eggs. That's all for today's J News. We'll see you next time with more news. Until then, Jai Janandra.
Jai Janandra. This is Riya Mehta with this week's quote. My soul characterized by knowledge and faith is alone eternal. All other phases of my existence to which I am attached are external occurrences that are transitory. Jai Janandra.
I hope you enjoyed today's program. We'll bring you another exciting program next week. Same place, same time. So please don't forget to tune in. Until then, Jai Janendra.
जब